Liberals and conservatives have argued for years about nuclear power. Where do you think we stand today? Can we classify it as clean energy, as green energy? Is it a renewable power source? Barb, where are we?
It is absolutely about as green as it can be. I mean, in terms of an energy source, other than renewables, it's the only one that does not contribute to air pollution, and it does not.
It's carbon free for sure.
It's carbon free. It's the only thing that doesn't contribute to man-made climate change that we currently have. And in general, it's extraordinarily safe. I mean, obviously, recently in Japan, they had an incident as a result of a 9.0 earthquake and a 40-foot tsunami, and obviously it was catastrophic. 0 deaths. Not a single person died as a result of that. It was extraordinarily expensive, but as a result of that, and there's this major overreaction in Europe. There's countries that are now basically not going to be developing, and they're actually closing their nuclear facilities.
Germany, for one.
Which is crazy. I mean, if that same tsunami or earthquake had hit a hydroelectric dam, thousands and thousands of people would have died from just flooding alone. So, yeah, it's safe. I don't really understand why, there's not more development on that front. It's very expensive, obviously, and the containment systems are extremely expensive. So
that's the big issue, and they don't last very long. It's what, like 10 years before you have to start rebuilding another one. So that's not in its favor.
Yeah,
it's a high cost form of energy from that standpoint.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of energy. I mean, it can produce a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the biggest issues with the nuclear energy, I think, is just safety. I mean, obviously that's the biggest question. I mean, there's obviously a lot of benefits, but then how do you minimize those risks of either the kind of high-profile accidents or just even minimal ones. I mean, there was just something here that I read about Perry. Where they found some some radioactive isotope or something that leaked into the water.
And that's going to get a lot more media attention and a lot more people afraid than
it will, sure.
Black smoke spewing out of a chimney in a power plant anywhere else.
And yet more people are killed by air pollution from coal.
Yeah.
Yearly than how many people have been killed with nuclear accidents.
There's also kind of a short-term, long-term issue there too, because a few years ago there was a book out, The World Without Us. I think Alan Weissman, and he looked at what would happen if humans disappeared from the Earth, and a day, and a week, and a month, and a year, and 1,000 years, and 1,000,000 years. And really, one of our legacies is going to be this nuclear waste.
Yep.
It's going to be here long after our cities have crumbled, and Mount Rushmore is gone, and bronze statues are gone. And I mean, that's...
What do we do with it?
Yeah.
Right.
So, in the short term, I agree, it is cleaner, but it seems like it's a very dirty, bad thing over a much longer time scale. And I guess we, as humans, don't care about that because that's either our kids' kids, I don't know. Does that? Can you still call it green then? It's more like it's short to medium term green.
Yeah.
If there is such a thing.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe blue, but not quite.
Okay.
Something. I mean, if it's well managed, I guess. If your nuclear power plant is well managed, well designed, well maintained,
there's still
then
issue.
Then you minimize the risk. I mean, you never get rid of the risks of the incidents, but then again, as you pointed out, with the whole long-term issue,
right.
I mean, what do you do with the waste?
Material.
I mean, there's an ongoing battle with where to store this waste. There's
and how to get it to where you're going to store it too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In Nevada.
Yucca Mountain, right?
Yeah.
There's a long-term battle going on there because first of all, residents of that state don't want nuclear waste in their state because they don't have any nuclear power plants there.
And if you have to ship it from South Carolina, people don't want the train going through Alabama and Mississippi and Texas.
Those are not small issues. Like, we know how many train accidents there are too, and we're always told, well, these things are safe and they're they're transported in these really safe rail cars and all that.
You still can have an accident.
Happen.
You can still have a derailment.
That's the definition of an accident, something that's unexpected.
An earthquake. Who would have expected a 9.8 earthquake?
The fear of the
or
radioactivity
the tsunami to follow it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but the fear of the radioactivity is the greatest thing.
Yeah.
Years ago, when I was a reporter for a daily business paper out in Lake County in Ohio here, I got to go on a tour of Perry Nuclear Power Plant when they were doing their decommissioning and repair and maintenance and things like that. And the security checks And the fear of going through and seeing these things and then having to go into the monitors and check and make sure that you didn't get exposed was terrifying. It was an amazing experience, but at the same time, I don't think I'd do it again. I was so scared the entire time I was in there. And there was no leaks, there was nothing like that, but still, because they have to check you and make sure that nothing is leaking, you never know, and it is scary. And I think that's part of the reason why people are so it's never going to be green enough for them, and that's why it's stopped.
You know, I really do think we have to look at all these different, sources, and I think it's a valid source that we need to
incorporate
into
an overall energy management program.
Absolutely.
And include everything. I do think you have to have everything in there.
Absolutely, yes.
Because some of it's more useful than others. I've always long maintained that you should still have wind, you should still have solar, as well as all of the sedimentary-based energy sources. Why not? Have a whole thing. There's not going to be one solution.
Right.
You need to have them all.
Absolutely.
Well, we've heard a lot of great ideas here, whether you call it nuclear or nuclear. I'm sure you have an opinion too, so please weigh in below. And we've also got a lot of great videos online at www.designworldonline.com. Thanks for joining us.